on a second. Where do I look at this thing? Where is the camera? Is it that black
right
dot?
here.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Busby, integrative veterinarian and founder of Dr. Busby's ToeGrips for Dogs. Today we're here with Matthew and Bigsby, our super paw model, and we're going to demonstrate gluing of ToeGrips. How and why? So let's talk about why we would glue ToeGrips on, because our traditional application is simply to use isopropyl alcohol, and we just dip the toe grip in the alcohol. The alcohol serves as a lubricant, so when we slip it on the toe, it just slides on a little bit more easily. You don't need to soak the toe grips in the alcohol, it's just the fact that they're wet makes them go on easier. And traditionally for dogs, just having the toe grip on, it creates a vacuum, if you will, on the nail, and they stay in place by mechanical interference. So for the average senior dog plodding through life, that works great. But there are certain circumstances in which toe grips don't stay on reliably, and for those circumstances, we recommend using superglue as a simple solution. This is the brand of superglue I prefer. You can get it at Staples. We also sell it on our website, ToeGrips.com, just for convenience. Situations where we recommend superglue are primarily dogs who drag or scuff their paws when gaiting. If they have a proprioceptive deficit, a neurologic issue where those paws scuff, that motion will pop the toe grips off. Another reason we would recommend gluing is for a dog that has 3 legs. Tripod dogs tend to have a compensatory gait, and that can cause them to pop the toe grips off as well. And there are other circumstances, but generally we don't recommend gluing. This is a modified application technique. But if you do need to glue, essentially if toe grips work well for your dog but don't stay on reliably, the most common reason is sizing. And so we'd ask that you contact us so we can help you work it out. But once we've determined that the size is correct, then superglue is probably the best thing to do. And so we're going to demonstrate that. We've already removed Bigsby's toe grips that were glued on prior. That was just basically a function of kind of scraping them off of her nails. And so you'll see a little bit of residue, a little bit of residual material on the nails, which is not a problem. It's just cosmetic, and we can apply right over that. If you were concerned, you could use just a little emery board or nail file to remove that. So there are two techniques for gluing. One is to apply the toe grip in the standard fashion, so just a wet toe grip. Slip it on the nail. Just continue with distraction if you would, that'd be great. Slip it on the nail, and then once it's in place, sliding it down using a dab of super glue at the top, and then sliding the toe grip back up into place. That's one technique, and that works fine for some dogs. We tried that with Bigsby, but she does have a tendency to drag her hind paws. She's also extremely active in a variety of terrains, and so it turns out that she needed a little bit more, and so we're going to use the technique where we use super glue instead of alcohol as the lubricant. We're going to put super glue inside the toe grip. It's going to cover the whole internal diameter or internal circumference, and then we're going to apply, and the super glue is going to create a bond with the nail. I sometimes get questions about whether or not I'm concerned about toxicity, and to be frank, I'm a holistic veterinarian. I try to be really careful about what I expose dogs to, but this really doesn't worry me on the nail itself. There would be really little chance for absorption, and toxicity is really not an issue of concern. Okay, so here we go with application. I'm going to take my toe grip. One key note is that you have to be very quick because the toe grip is the glue is going to dry very fast. And I'm going to insert it and just put a dollop of glue in. And now I'm going to stabilize the toe and do my traditional application. And like I said, I want to be very, very fast. If there's any extra glue, I just try to remove that. And I'm always going to be honest with you about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this is a little bit ugly. Gluing toe grips is a little bit messy. There's no way around that, but it does get the job done. Here we go. Again, just inserting a little bit of glue into the internal circumference there, internal cavity, and then applying, and then just wiping away any extra. As with standard application, it's really key that we set the grip zone, that this is going to contact the ground at or before the toenail itself. So if I was to glue this and had it up here on the shaft of the nail, they may very well stay in place perfectly, but they wouldn't do their job of creating traction for the dog because they would never be in contact with the ground in that position. Bixby, you are doing great. And so that actually slipped up a little high. I'm going to take that off and try again, because once it's up that high, it can't create the grab that it needs to. Good girl. Good girl. You're doing great. All right, and last toe on this paw. Okay, good girl. And there we go. I've just trimmed these nails, and it's the hardest time to put on toe grips. Typically there'd be a little bit more of a taper, so there'd be more nail exposed. And I've actually just cut all of that off. But because they're glued, they should stay in place nicely. So we're gonna go for the next paw. We love it when our patients are snoring through the treatment. That's fantastic. Good girl. Good girl. I would never recommend using super glue to apply on your very first time, because there's a little bit of a learning curve just in applying toe grips as it is. So if you do feel like your dog's gonna need the super glue technique, I would start by trying it without, just using the alcohol technique for practice, and then go back and remove them. They come off very simply. They just kind of pop right off, and use the super glue technique if that's what your dog actually needs after you've gotten the knack of putting them on. Okay, so there we have it. 8 high nails with toe grips on. And we're gonna continue on to the front nails, but I think that's enough for the tutorial. That's how we glue toe grips. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to contact us through our website. We love to help our furry customers. Thanks.